Alright, I have got a real roller coaster of emotions for you here today. This is a game that I literally just played. Like, I played this game, and then I was like, wow, this was a really good game. And I turned off my client and I started to record this replay. So, first things first, looking at the matchmaking, threats to my ship, there's the enemy Saipan. There's a Brisbane for radar who is in division with the Yamato, so where there's one, there's going to be the other, most likely. There's going to be a Sherman, Elbing, Jutland, and Fantask for destroyer threats. An Arian that I'm not too worried about. It's going to be annoying if I get spotted in front of him, but he doesn't have anything to spot me on his own, so I'm not too worried about him. So map is estuary. We spawned over here on A, and we're going to kick this one off by getting griefed by a carrier that's about to pop up over here. Love to see it. He's actually not going to spot me. He's going to take the long way around like that, which I don't know why he did that, but I'm not going to complain. And I'm also going to try to not spoil what's about to happen, even though I obviously just played this game and I know what's going to happen. I'm going to try to not spoil it. So, right now what I'm looking at is I'm obviously on RPF, and looking at this matchmaking, I'm thinking, okay, I'm on RPF. It's probably going to be either the Fantask or the Jutland that's running that. As Sherman and Elbing are pretty point hungry ships, and they typically don't even spec into RPF anyway. So I'm looking at being RPF'd, and it's probably going to be one of those two. But I obviously am in the daring. I am a tier 10 destroyer, so I'm probably going to have another tier 10 destroyer over here to match me. So I'm also preparing to deal with this Sherman or this Elbing, whichever one ends up being over here. D is being flipped right now. We haven't spotted what by yet. At first I thought it was the Fantask because of the speed, but then I saw the Fantask popped up over here, and I'm like, huh, okay. So it's probably the Sherman. Just based on the Elbing and the Fantask haven't been spotted, and the Jutland is pretty slow. So, there you go. And what I'm looking at doing right here is I want to try and set up a trap for this Fantask. And he's getting spotted by my carrier. And what I'm expecting is he's about to launch his bombers over here. And I'm expecting he's going to come back and grief this Fantask a little bit more. And I was going to be ready to smoke up right here when he gets pushed down to here. I can just smoke up and clap him for free, basically. It doesn't happen. He's sending his planes off to Narnia. The Jutland gets dev struck by Hayate Torps. Love to see it. And we did just cap A. So, right now, when I'm looking at the map, I have two destroyers basically about to run at me, probably. There's a St. Vincent, Preußen, and Montana, who's up on the B line. They're up there probably playing grab ass or something similar to that. Can't imagine what battleship players are doing, like on the borders of the map or in spawn all games. But I'm not going to imagine that. Right now, I'm still expecting this this Fantask to pop up over here. I'm expecting he's going to want to go and torp these battleships, but of course he doesn't do that, and he's about to pop up over here. So I'm just going to smoke up because he's shot, so he is therefore spotted. I'm going to throw up my hydro for any torpedoes he might launch, and we're just going to farm him for free. And I almost accelerated there until I saw that they were a little bit ahead of me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to reverse. So I reverse. And those torps miss. And that's kind of something that you'll learn to just, you'll learn to gauge that with experience. Like, the same thing applies with shells. Like, sometimes you'll just be able to look at, an incoming salvo, and you'll be like, okay, you just know that you have to speed up or slow down depending on if they're coming more closer to the center or off to the side. It's just something that you'll get with experience. So right now they are in A, we are in D. So looking at the map, I am okay with letting them have A right now. We have a little bit of a points lead from having it for a little while, and we also have a points lead from having a kill up on the enemy team right now, and we are also taking D. So they're about to take A here, and I'm okay with that. And I'm looking at farming out this Preußen, and I am going to end up making a small, well, it's not really a big misplay. It's a misplay, but not a huge one. I'm going to smoke up here to try and farm this Preußen, but he's about to go dark because, you know, spotting is a thing. I can't spot through my smoke. I was hoping he was going to shoot and get himself detected by his gun bloom. Didn't end up happening. I should have waited for him to actually shoot before I smoked up there, but, you know, it's a wasted smoke charge. It happens. But the nice thing about the Royal Navy destroyers is that it can happen and you still don't really care too much about it just because you have so many charges, especially if you're running Superintendent like you should because of the extra heal. And Fantastic pops up again here. I'm going to take some shots at him. He is going to end up going dark. That is actually a full concealment Fantastic, which you don't really see that often. Most people play French destroyers as open water farmers and typically will forego concealment expert for that reason. But, you know, he went full conceal, and in this case it worked out for him, so more power to him. I almost shot at that Preußen, but I didn't want to be spotted for another 20 seconds in front of that Elbing, and I also didn't want to have to use another smoke charge, because even though you have a lot of charges, they are still finite. So, looking at what's going on right now, there's the Brisbane that's threatening to come over here. I'm keeping an eye on him, but I also want to try and get into A here, because this Fantastic is pretty low, and nothing else is in a really in a position to do anything about me here. So I'm just going to try and get some farm on this St. Vincent. I'm going to launch some torps out, which these were a bit hasty. He is going to end up turning in, and they're all going to miss. But honestly, I don't even blame myself for that. That's just him being smart, because he can see that there's something in A. He can see that there's a giant smoke screen with shells coming out of it. So, you know, good on him for being intelligent and being able to zoom out in between shots. He did end up shooting and getting himself detected, though, which is pretty funny. There goes our Yamato. I think he just spent the entire time on this island and then got clapped by the St. Vincent, accelerated, then died, is what I'm pretty sure happened there. I'll load up armor piercing for the St. Vincent. I do get detected here, but I'm not too worried about it. Nothing really has shots on me. Yeah, St. Vincent's going behind the island. He does get one turret off on me, but and it's gonna get some chip damage, but you know, it's fine. Gonna heal up a little bit. There's Fantastic torps. And I should have just left my AA off right here. This was just me being a little bit greedy. I should have just left it off, because now I'm about to be spotted in front of that St. Vincent. Although luckily his guns are pointed elsewhere. I'm just going to smoke up, and I want to make sure that this St. Vincent goes down. There is a Colombo over here as well, so you're going to pay attention to him in a second here, because he's about to become relevant in a few seconds. But they are once again in A, and I'm looking at that dead St. Vincent, and now I'm turning my attention to this Colombo. The Cyclone, which by the way is everyone's favorite mechanic in the game, absolutely fucking amazing mechanic. I love face checking Des Moines at 8 kilometers. But anyway, enough of that. We're gonna launch some torpedoes at this Colombo accounting for he's going to turn towards C. Because when you think about it, he's obviously on the enemy team. You know who else is on the enemy team? The Fantask and the Elbing. So he can see his two destroyers over here in A. So he's thinking, okay, I can probably walk towards C. And if I need to, I have my gimmick to get me out or to buy me time. His gimmick obviously being his Italian full speed smoke. And I am just going to casually accelerate past these. I almost slowed down, but I didn't need to. Even if, oh, he only got 2 hits, which is unfortunate. Those ended up running out. I'm pretty sure those were Fantastic Torps. So I'm looking at getting back into A, because I know that this Fantask is pretty low, and there is a Kutuzov also pushing up here with me. So we did get a couple of hits on the Columbo. Not a ton of damage, but it is going to be enough to help out my GK a little bit. And if you were paying attention, you'll have noticed that RPF just dropped off of me a few seconds ago while I was running my mouth. So I just pinged the map right over here because this Fantask is in one of two places. He's either like over here, which is basically impossible without him getting spotted, or he's over here because like I explained earlier, I'm pretty sure he's the one running RPF, because the Elbing and Sherman are both very point-hungry ships and typically don't run it. So the Fantask and the Jutland, which the Jutland's dead, so that literally just leaves this Fantask. So Fantask does end up popping up. I'm going to try and get him dead, and then I'm just going to have to smoke up to go dark from this Elbing. We love French destroyers that do like 50 knots. And I'm just going to smoke up from this Elbing and take a nasty little hit there, which I could have lived without. But, you know, is what it is. Took some overpen damage. And I'm expecting this Elbing to accelerate either towards C or towards B, which I tried to launch those torps to cover a bit of area, because I thought he also might want to stick around to try and deal with me, because he doesn't know that my Kutuzov is still pushing in. He's about to, because he's going to get spotted by these planes, but he at that point he didn't know. So I thought maybe he was going to be greedy and try and stick around. But he's not going to do that, and those torps are all going to miss, which is unfortunate, but that's pretty much about what I expected. And not much is really going to happen for the next few minutes here. When I'm looking at this map, we are tied on ships. We are 3 caps to 1, although that's going to be changing because our Colossus is getting walked at by a Preußen who's going to walk into D, and this Elbing you're about to see here is going to walk into C. So I'm looking at the map right now, and my options are either go after this Elbing or go and cap B. And I'm going to choose to cap B. And the reason I'm choosing that is because this Kutuzov is going to C. Even though that Elbing can clap him if he's broadside, angled he should be mostly fine because Elbing does have pretty poor HG DPM, and he's trying to out DPM a Kutuzov, so you know. So I'm gonna let the Kutuzov go to C because best case scenario he kills the Elbing and takes back C. Worst case scenario, the Elbing, well, worst case scenario is he dies, but I'm also not sure what those torps were. But worst case scenario, he dies to the Elbing. Best case scenario, he kills the Elbing and takes C. Or what I'm expecting, until he just turned away, was him to walk at C and the Elbing to just kite away either to A or to D, but probably to A. So we end up just trading C for A for the Elbing. But that doesn't happen because the Kutuzov goes all the way around like a monkey. And our Colossus, you saw me pinging right there. He literally just kind of sat there while a person walked at him, and he got dev struck by the fucking person. So, you know how that goes. Cyclone is ending here, and when I'm looking at this map, I'm thinking like, okay, this game is going to be won on kills, because we were triple capped for a second there until I got into B, but it's still going to take me time to actually capture B, and there's still the possibility of the Elbing killing the Kuchazov. So this is, when I'm looking at this map, I'm like, okay, we are going to take B. We will take C because the Elbing was spotted running away from C, so the Kutuzov is going to get that. But we are still behind, and the Kutuzov is still in very real danger of dying. The Hayate is still in very real danger of dying. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, okay, this game is going to require kills to win. And that's how I'm going to play this from here on out. Because the carrier, we don't know where he is. We suspect that he's like somewhere up here because that's where his planes were coming from. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, okay, I can try and maybe go up here to put some torpedoes into this Montana. But if I do that, it's going to be on this Hayate to take out the Elbing and the Preußen by himself. And he's on like 5k health, so he's pretty low. I'm going to throw up a quick defensive hydro, just in case of any Make-A-Wish torps, which the Elbing did in fact launch. And it turns out that the carrier is actually an A, which I wasn't expecting, not going to lie. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, okay, we definitely need kills if we're going to win this game, because we're about to be tied on caps, best case scenario. Worst case scenario is the Kutuzov dies without taking C, but I don't think that's about to happen. And right here is where I make my very aggressive play. We were able to bait the Preußen and the Elbing into shooting at me. We got a double fire on the Preußen, and we're going to try and kill this Elbing. Which, remember, the Elbing does have an armored belt. It is an armored destroyer that can shatter HE, but if you're shooting at it broadside with AP, then it will take a lot of damage from that. And there goes the Elbing. And then this Preußen is still burning. He did get a double fire on him. And boom. It was not a double strike, unfortunately. So that's unfortunate, because we missed out on that nice little achievement. Not that it really would have mattered, but you know, it would have been nice to have. So now what I'm doing is, it's just us versus this carrier, and this Kutuzov is still is in danger of dying. He is 8k health, and there is a carrier with midway dive bombers flying around. So we're just going to take D, and we're just going to run with it. We're going to run with our triple caps, and no, I had to almost burp there for a second. We're just going to run with our triple caps and win this game, because even if this Kutuzov dies, we'll still have triple caps. We still have points lead, and as long as me and the Hayate both survive, we're good to go. So I'm about to tell this Hayate, like, hey, get back. We don't need to push. We don't need to run at the carrier in order to win this game. I'm just pinging the map like, hey, let's just run off to opposite corners. There's no way he's ever going to kill all three of us as long as we're far enough away, which honestly, we didn't even need to do that. Like, we could have stayed just right where we are, and there's still not enough time for him to kill all three of us, because he'd have to kill the Kutuzov, then fly all the way over here, kill one of us, then fly all the way over here again to kill the other. So honestly, there's not enough time for that, even no matter what we did. So this game was pretty much won at this point, and all I'm doing is just hauling ass in the opposite direction. Because even though we pretty much can't lose no matter what, I'm still just playing like, okay, I just need to stay alive, and I'm going to play accordingly. And I'm honestly amazed that this Kutuzov. Props to this Kutuzov for his performance, by the way. Uh, I remember thinking when he went around that island, like when he went south of the island instead of straight to sea, I remember thinking, like, man, what a shitter. But he did end up proving me wrong because he ended up top scoring this game. Which, well done to him. He is tier 8, so he got that spicy little bonus from shooting at tier 10s, but, you know, whatever. He did well, so good to him. Good for him. So, that was a win that I kind of had to fight tooth and nail for. And if anything, if this Hayate died, if that Kutuzov died, that we probably would be looking at a very different screen here because I would have had to deal with the Preussen, the Elbing, and the Carrier, and also the Montana. I don't remember what killed the Montana. I think it was a Hayate Torp. Or it might have been a flesh wound from the CV. I don't remember. But, oh no, it wasn't the flesh wound. I mean, like, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that. So, that was this game. 5 base caps, by the way. 3 solo, 2 assisted, 4 kills, 133k damage. Pretty good game. So, I hope that this game was enjoyable to watch. I hope that you might have learned something, and that is going to be it for today. So I will see you tomorrow.